Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore. Wait a minute, this music isn't right, the scene isn't right. Hang on. That's more like it. And now it's time for the show for all creatives. Nevermind the Furthermore. Your source for conversation, inspiration, and fun. With your host, Nicholas Anthony Tockert. He's an artist, a writer, a swordsman, and a game designer. He knows how to use the sword and axe in historical battles without anybody getting hurt too much. He's also the Manatee Man, master of marketing. And he may even have a guest or two. One thing, though, to be certain. Just don't call him a cryptid. With that, it's about time for the show. So sit back, enjoy, and have some coffee and chat with us.
Good morning, Nevermore. I'm your host with the most, Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert, coming to you over the airways on WNTF. Nevermind the Furthermore. Nevermind the Furthermore is brought to you with the love and support of our good friends over at the Independent Creator Directory. That's indiecd.org, your one-stop shop for the best in the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. Now, we are also made possible by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of our ongoing series of Western martial arts manuals. Yes, Western. Where, not only do I carry a sword, but I also remind folks that I am, indeed, your huckleberry. Western martial arts manuals designed to help you go from having never handled the sword to teaching the art to others. There is another one being outlined. My patron long time have had access to pieces of it. As soon as I get through Hates and Hellfire, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, which is not the name of it. But, man, I wish I had found a way to make that work. Anyway, I will be deep diving that hard and fast because people want it. People need it. Now, what am I talking about, Hates and Hellfire? If you don't know, well, then a dark secret has claimed 2 lives and is hunting an innocent child at the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. Ali's aunt, a plucky reporter, her cameraman, and a very odd cat stand against the forces of darkness. Friends, as I slough my way through the extended fight scene, build-up, horror, madness, that led up to a joke that made me have to stop writing for a while. I would apologize to my beloved beta readers, but they've come to expect such shenanigans from me. We move barreling towards Friday and the weekend. I do have some bizarre accountability with which to speak, including, yes, I did a little bit of the tinkering upon the digital computer keys. I did a bit of digital art, just fuzzy warm-up fun stuff, trying to get my mojo going. It's been an interesting run. And one thing I need to do is give you guys a public notice announcement. Joann's is closing. However, I encountered something interesting because Mandy got some extra birthday money and used it yesterday at Joann's. One must always be careful with Joann's because somehow items marked down 40 to, in some places, 80% are still more expensive than Amazon. Now, us shopping through Joann's did remind us of why we don't usually shop at Joann's. But I want to put this out there. Because I was interrupted, I was not able to buy the shelves that I was going to buy. But at least the Joann's that I went to, some of the fixtures are going for sale. Now, if we could buy the fixtures, I may be revisiting Joann's with a purpose, with a message. You see, someone in my life who shall remain nameless and totally isn't both my son and I, have more Nerf freedom dispensers and, of course, alternate company freedom dispensers than the armaments of several well-known private military companies. And that isn't about to change, although the numbers will be dropping in a few weeks, hopefully, because once summer reading kicks off, we will have Nerf Day, and I do love being the guy who brings the tote and goes, "Okay, kiddos, have fun." But Joann's, as I recall, has a whole lot of pegboard. Stop. Now, I did say pegboard, and I know you guys, and I love you dearly. But y'all, yeah. Somehow, with no sound on, I just heard Joe do the Tim Curry laugh. Okay, he just did a Tim Curry laugh through a muted mic. This is scary as all heck. But my normal, my reality. So, in a perfect world, after I price check something, oh God, I don't even want to know what came up in the comments to get that reaction off of folks. I may be acquiring the pegboard. I also shall be unrequiring the danged glass stored cabinets. They will be going downstairs in the near future. Hopefully this weekend, possibly as early as today. Does it mean a few of my top shelf items back there will temporarily need new homes? Yes. But once those go, I can take the measurements and get an actual table. Alec, I love the table you gave me. If you are watching, I love the table you gave me, but I need a larger, wider table because apparently I have two big computer systems that need to be set up, plus my Delta Mini V3 3D printer that I got a couple prints off of and then just wouldn't talk to anything I gave it. So if I can find the right stuff, I will do that. There's also the matter of some filament that's inside it that has to be adjusted. But that's part of I'm going to bribe Joey. See, I have a plan, and it involves making my study applicable and, enterable, and then having large quantities of food in prep as reward to say, "Hi, Joey, behold," and see if he can't do what my dad does. My dad can fix a car by growling at it. I have seen him make a car start by looking at it and reaching into the vocal gravel and just sort of pouring it out slowly on a tin roof. So you just hear, and you know there is infrasound, and then the car vibrates in sync with the infrasound. It harmonizes, and then it starts. Absolute sorcery. Possibly bardic, now that I think of it. You wouldn't think, but maybe. Anyway, I suspect Joy can do the same thing with 3D printers. And I still have that one that was given to me in a box that was falling. Like, it was shipped, and I don't know, have you ever had a box that got shipped from so hard Thesis couldn't probably pronounce it without taking time to beat the rhythm out? China, like, you know, we're talking 25, 26 letters, comma, blank province, China, and you pick the box up, and it's buzzing, not because there's anything wrong, but because the atoms in the cardboard have gone unstable. So you sit it down, and the seams blow out, and there's a sideways explosion of the infinite little styrofoam balls all over the place. Well, I got one of those in right over there. I still have to assemble it and see if I can get the dang thing to work. If not, I will be taking recommendations from Joseph on somewhere out there as technology advances is a bonehead 3D printer. Something that is designed for an absolute just ankle-biting smeghead. Something designed where someone so idiotic with no brain cells, full-on avatar of Orange Cat energy can go, oi, this is cool. And hit the button, do the thing, hit the button, and have the results. At which point I will acquire money. Well, I will put it on my list of things to acquire money for because I have a list. And then I will acquire this thing, not to squeeze Joe. This has nothing to do with squeezing Joe out of his awesomeness. No. Part of it is to relieve the stress, but part of it is that, okay. Hold on. Okay. That is the current state of my wall of cool. Okay? That is insufficient. I love my wall of cool, but that is insufficient. My pewters need their stand. A few other things need to happen. I'm tired of looking at it like this. I was talking to my son, who Xander had his 16th birthday. It was a quiet, pleasant affair. But as is his, he mentioned things that had he told me a week ago or 2 weeks ago would have affected the presence he has. And this set me on a quest because it doesn't have to be your birthday for me to give you things you want. That rolls. And he is rather fond of the Apothecary Diaries, which is an anime that we watch. It's like, some people are going to say, well, Nick, that has some pretty mature concepts. Yes, there are some mature concepts. And by them having mature concepts, but nothing that really shows said mature concepts in action, we can start to discuss mature concepts. But, as he puts it, I like the Apothecary Diaries with my favorite hero, Mao Mao. Where does this come from? A full sentence out of my son explaining something he wants in clear understandable. So I went on a quest for Mao Mao merch. And found something that I think I sent to Trey. Where I may not have sent the reference yet because I may be dropping a few bucks and then sending the sorceress text of an Amaguri pattern to Trey. But if I haven't, I will. But I also saw in looking for this, because I thought I'd get a little plush or something. I saw the 3D printed figures. And I looked at that and I went, well, the STL is in the single digits if you ignore change. I like single digit items that I can mass produce. Now, there's a bit of piracy there. Do I suspect that somebody took a 3D scanner and the very, very, very expensive ship from Japan figurines, 3D scanned them and went, here's an STL? Nah, that would be piracy, and piracy is wrong. So, with the understanding that piracy is indeed wrong, ignoring the fact that my boots in the past have been both white leather and really wanted thigh-high versions, I realized that there are other figures along that line that one might be interested in acquiring. Because if you're going to make something, make it limited print at exorbitant prices before shipping? That's bad business. So I will be engaging in that. It also means new. I can use that to develop better 3D versions of some of the big Stompy Robots units that are in development. I mean, what? No, I have nothing surprising coming down the pipe. I haven't been working on anything. No, don't ask. But if I could figure out the way to do it right so that both Richie, hi Richie if you're there, and Joe don't get the file I said, here, I designed this. What do you think? And go, head desk, Nick, there are errors here. I don't want my friends to suffer. They're very kind to me. So that is on my to-do list because I really appreciate the awesomeness that they're doing, but I despise being a burden. And I don't know if I should discuss this now or I should discuss this during the Historical Fencing Guild because it overlaps. So some of you may hear this material twice today. I realized something. I had a major brain drizzle. And I mean like 2 days ago. My beloved guild members, especially those closest to me, like these two wonderful people who are in the little matchbox thing, they suffer greatly, in part because I am apparently that is, a prideful, I could do it all myself. Nick, you have broken bones you're not talking about. You are hobbling. You've just bled at least a pint out. Let somebody clean up. No, I got this. You guys just chill. Nick, you're literally on fire. Not the first time. Don't worry about it. Hold on. Stop, drop, and roll. No. I got the, why are you like this? And I had a revelation. At some point, I'm going to have a conversation. And part of that conversation will involve why I'm like this, involving the Historical Fencing Guild and thus my business efforts, etc. I have been teaching people to sword fight for a quarter of a century. Not I've been learning to sword fight, not that I've been sword fighting. I've been teaching for a quarter of a century. And I spent the first 15 years of that, I would say. Well, a little short. Yeah, 15 years. Codifying the style that I teach. Ironing and locking it in, and then at least a decade. We're coming on a decade of the printed Simple Sword next year. Now, there were versions of the Simple Sword floating around that a very, very few people have that were actually like one-page prints from, oops, what do you mean the credit count isn't working on campus? Oh, they're having a technical error. Please don't abuse this. Of course, I will not. On my word, I will not abuse this. Will I make reasonable financial gains with it? Yes. So I did. So back when it had other titles. So few people tucked away have some of these stapled together monstrosities. But during that time, especially when I began to acquire students in the larger numbers, I would get, how do I want to put this? I would get contacted and encouraged to join other subgroups. Now, bear with me. I know I'm prattling, but there's a reason for it. And these people did not realize that I watch, I pay attention, I am tactically and situationally aware most of the time. Especially when I'm in in an event full of people with knives. I mean, I'm used to being around people with knives. I'm certainly used to having knives and swords and axes and other implements of destruction. But when I'm surrounded by people who have access to these things, I tend to be a little more vigilant than usual. So that point where you go from mere mortal hypervigilance into a faint blue glow coming off of me and what is referred to as ultra instinct Shaggy in certain situations. This means I've watched them. And one of my greatest beefs, one of the things that truly grates me, are the people who gather others for their own enhancement. And very, very frequently, I would see this. Yes, Nick, of course, they called me by another name. I'm not going to drop that name here. Let old ghost slay for the moment. The old ghost can clatter around in the back of my mind. He doesn't need to come out. Would you consider joining our household, our group, barony? Join me, and together we shall dominate the kingdom. As master and cadet. Yes. And universally, these individuals were doing so, in part because they wanted my skills. My very niche skills that made me a nightmare for people like them. But mostly they wanted the large gaggle of people I may have acquired at that moment. Because it would be more feathers in their hat. And I would watch these people, and they would trade knowledge for prestige, power, and servitude. Not even service, servitude. And if it sounds like I want to throw up every time I say servitude that way, it's because I do. Again, what does that mean? Why am I saying this? When I work with people, my first goal is to become obsolete. That's my primary goal. My primary goal with a student is to become obsolete. I want to get them safe. I want to make sure they're having fun. I want them to accomplish what they want. But it is always from the perspective of planned obsolescence. Because understanding my physical limitations, my inclinations, and my physical height and things, the vast majority of people I train should be able to consistently beat me when they get reasonable sets of skills. I've never seen anyone else do that. Everyone else I've seen have treated the eagerness of a student as something to be manipulated, something to be preyed upon, something to enhance them. And it effing sickens me. Now, I do have a number of personal flaws, and one of them is I tend to overcorrect. So if I say I'm not going to be like that, because especially with what my first instructor tried to pull, I will not be like that. That means I am really hesitant to ask my students for anything. I'm really hesitant to say, hey guys, can you help me out doing anything beyond what they should be doing for their education? And I know it drives you guys nuts. So I'm working on it because I realize that is actually a bit of a flaw. And it may be a very small piece of pride that I've actually held on to. So I will be working on that. I will be asking for assistance and things in the coming years. And I say this on video because I know that at one point, one of you thinks we'll bring it up. And would it surprise me? Look, Nick, look, click. I will be asking for assistance. See, do I need to play that again? What does that matter? What does that matter to what we do here at this channel? What does it matter to coming together as authors and artists and creatives, etc.? What that matters, my duckies, is I approach everything like that. And that means I equally detest the people who in any organization do that. So I want to encourage you both to self-check. I mean, the real thing is we got self-check. We're not taking advantage of our friends and our readers and our support. You know, like our beta readers, our the people who volunteer to do stuff for us. Never see people as tools. See, we love people, right? We use tools all over the place. Especially now, I have seen people who use people and love tools. It's a bigger epidemic than the My Sharona. I can't even remember the line BKM used to use, but you know what I'm talking about. So that is one of my personal, what do they call them? Icks are people who use people that way. I encourage you to watch out for them. And if you ever wonder why someone can just get a level of venom and ire from me that seems almost out of character, it is because when I see someone who is being objectified, and not even in the fun, hey baby kind, but used as a tool to prop someone else up, when they're the ones who have the name power, the notoriety, the clout, and should be propping up others with what they have. it makes me want to throw up into a bucket and then acquaint some shins with a golf club. I would never do that, but, you know, to borrow from one of my favorite series ever, uh, the Bible is very fuzzy on the subject of kneecaps. So that is why I don't tolerate certain types of behavior from people. And it's why I that's the term. I lost it. It's not respond. Shoot. We'll just say I counter certain things to such extremes because I see so many people who take things to the other extreme. And one of the great solutions in life is don't put up with it. If you are a new writer, if you're a new author, and somebody's doing I will help you, but you have to be my 5-letter word for a female dog, essentially. Or they don't tell you that, but they try to put you in that role. Walk away. Light the way ahead of you with the wondrous glow of the bridges you burn behind you. Because no amount of advancement is worth certain levels of hazing. Okay? And I hate that I have to say this, but no guidance or support towards any form of enhancement is worth being drafted into a harem. Because I've seen too many people who turn situations into cult-like behaviors. And I've seen literally too many people take specific types of knowledge and use that as an excuse to prey upon people who are damaged or are vulnerable to that level of wanting to fit in. And as an excuse to turn what should be their students into a mix of effective servants, bankrolls, and in points literal harems. Now, I have no problem with the voluntary harem. It is my personal belief that while I have my own sets of mores and things, if everybody is consenting and happy, to be in a given situation, it's not my place to judge. But when it gets that level of forced transactional, and I've seen it too many times, it's quite literally a big part of how I ended up where I am. So very popular in certain circles. Never let people take credit for your light. Okay? Enhance the light of others. Now, I will admit, in my self-service, in my greed, there are few things I enjoy more than seeing somebody I helped at a stage hit that point, the Long John Silver line. Treasure Planet, which is possibly the greatest Disney movie ever. Sorry. I don't take calls during this time. I want to see that moment when somebody I helped has gotten where they want to be and the light is shining off of them. I want to see that moment where people have noticed their hard work and skills and are recognizing it. And from somewhere off in the shadows, not quite as creepy as the platform where Hero Yui stands. If you know, you know. Oh boy needs some work. But I just want to catch a little of that and be able to walk away before anybody says anything. That's my greed. That's my payment in such things. But beyond that, beyond genuinely wanting to feel the joy of seeing someone else succeed, I don't really want much from anybody else. But don't let anybody turn you into a commodity. You are a person. You are a creative. You are the MC of your own story. You're not the MC of everyone's story. Some folks need to learn that. But you are the main character of your own story. So, you know what? Why don't you make it a good one? Okay? And don't let other folks write it for you. Especially when things are scary and you're vulnerable. That's when the parasites come crawling out of the woodwork. All that is to say, I despise that. And I may have swung too far on the other side. So I am, as always, incredibly grateful to the people who've been there for me over these years and these weeks and these months and all that. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly there for a second. But I also know that maybe I should give others the chance to help me. So that's what I've been working on. And if that's not a heck of accountability, I don't know what is. And if you are looking, my friends, for someone to help you through, I know my monologue went really long today. But if you're looking for someone to help you advance, you're looking for a community that can build you up and won't be like, no, you are mine. There are very few Rumpelstiltskins in the independent creator directory that I know of. If somebody's helping you around here spin something into something else, they want to see you able to spin something into something else. And I think that's a beautiful thing. All right, I am monstrously behind in the comments, obviously, because I decided to prattle this Friday. But sometimes I got to get up on the soapbox, and it's my channel. If I'm ever too far on the soapbox, private chat me and let me know. And then I will decide if I value your opinion. Wow. Oops. Honest Nick is honest today. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Carl. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Foxy. How you doing? And my Donna, how is the mistress of cigars herself? The wanting want. Sorry, my brain went other places with that. The reigning queen of hedonism, said as a compliment. I mean, very few people can take quite so many of the seven deadly sins and wind them into such a beautiful, functioning package. Again, said as a compliment. I enjoy my villainous friends. Hi, Donna. Hi, Donna and Foxy. I was starting to think I got in the wrong room. Too quiet. This has been a trying week for a lot of us. I may have been scolded because I may have mentioned the last time I was talking to someone right before the stream. And unfortunately, my friends can do math. And when I say, yeah, I was talking to them till about then, and they know that as a rule, I wake up at about 9 o'clock on show days, usually. The mathing starts to get kind of spicy when one realizes I also have to take, 10 minutes or so to make sure my machines are all hooked up and, uh, the circles are in place. The glowing runes are glowing the right shade of, a calming, healing green or a soothing blue, and not that radiating pink red of, oh, it's time to go incinerate something. I am not a Borg, but the idea of being able to plug into a regeneration chamber has appeal. I think the most compelling and fanciful pulling thing in the book of Boba Fett, the most relatable part of that was him doing his job in the desert and just wanting to go home and take a bath. It's like I think I would like a back to hot tub or something. That seems like a good idea. But people are here. Oh dear God, I got a private message. Oh, sweet summer child. You think I wasn't interrupted? Anyway, I was sent someone's musically inclined sequential ordering abilities, also known as I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. Morning, all. Hey, morning, Trey. I hope you're having a good one. Ooh, I got the scolding look. Like the smirk of scold. You know what you did. Dear Lord. I would go, but when did we get married? And then remember that there was some very, very fine print that may have been slipped on the marriage ceremony paperworks. Anyway. And Trey, the little red dress you wore was adorable. Anyway. Yeah, it was adorable. I was going through and I saw the wedding pictures and I got all, oh. I had the same thought, but no, I had to find this one. It's right. Hey, Trey. Hey, see, everybody loves Trey. And hi, Trey. Good video the other day, but your neighbor with the chainsaw. Arg. That's why I can't film out here except early in the morning. And oh, thank you. It was an actual tree trimming company with a wood chipper. Ah, yes, the wood chipper. Madame Guillotine's much louder, much messier descendant. Now I just have this image of a wood chipper singing about their ancestors' Mulan style. Anyway, I'm pretty sure they were taking care of most of the town that week. It's understandable. Understandable for this week. Here it's every weekend, all day, sometimes during the week. Carl, do you live in Texas? Is there a gentleman with a lot of leather that happens to be on his face? And not, wearing vests and pants of the same concept, because, most of the leather daddies I've met have actually been pretty nice people to folks who aren't like involved in the scene one way or another. Oh, I've been in weird places. This week, the city inspector, decided the columns on our front porch are falling apart. No bleep, Sherlock. Try to get a contractor out here. I feel your pain. Because every time that Joey or Trelana come by, they walk up my steps past my brick wall. And every time they do, they can't help it. It happens when you have a trained eye. They look down, and one eyebrow does that Vulcan thing that I cannot pull off, like, at will. I have to be genuinely mortified to make it work. And, like, one eyebrow ascends to the hairline, and there's a loud, uh-huh. And mutterings about, they didn't add drainage, the fools. They must not like money. Yeah, people don't want to make money. Morning, all. Hey, Thesis. How's that? Not going to try to pronounce it till I hear the name many. Your G guitar. It's like a G Gundam, but with less blazing finger. How's that coming? Every time I think about that guitar of yours, I want to go watch Kung Fu Hustle again because of the people with the invisible sound dagger things. Still say that fight was BS, and they should not have done as well as they did. Hi, Dawn. That's Dawn. The matriarch of the INN, Indie CD News Network. Indie CD 411. And I went to click her. You know what? Here. Totally off topic. But I have several model type things I got very inexpensive that I want to put together. I glanced over, and a couple of them are tied to the Gundam universe. And I've been watching Gundam Wing and sending Trey updates on what I think about what's going on. Usually with very little context. I can almost see plot character development in Relina where she doesn't necessarily have to die. But anyway, the main hero mecha thing, spoilers, gets blown up / upgraded like twice. This is totally not for them to have an excuse to sell more models and toys. But watching the first versions of all these dudes that this all happens to make sense and be practical and be effective for the most part, and realize that at some point, this reasonably effective military vehicle is going to get rebuilt. And some absolute mad lad's going to go, you know what this needs? What this mecha really, really needs are robotic angel wings and holographic feathers that go. And I can't decide if that's petty or extra. But I'm both kind of like Practical Nick is vehemently appalled by it. Like, but no, robots should be large and stompy and effective. They do not need holographic feathers. But the other side says, but Nick, be petty. Be petty and extra. It goes whoosh. Ask yourself, what would Hat and Clogs do? The problem with being essentially, in D&D terms, a multi-class character, which I am, much to my eternal chagrin, is one side is very duty-oriented and very lawful and very core to my being. The equal and opposite side is or Chaos Gremlin. We could Chaos Gremlin. And then you get days like today where there is no thought or logic. But, oh yes, and go on Facebook, read the stories of Buddy and Shorchat, her fashionable felines. She can throw the link if she cares to. And we can't have a day without a squeak. I'm going to run a little late, but I'm okay with that. Because there's no way I'm going to blast through this in 8 minutes. But I can try. All I have to do is mash the greetings button. Let's see. So where are we? Like a good neighbor, chainsaws are there. Anyway, and we got greetings. I'm pretty sure she filmed those videos for Ruby, but everyone can benefit. Yes. They're useful and exciting and glorious. I've been quietly waiting for them to happen, and then quietly waiting to comment because I want to see how all you talk. And then I just have to hit the like button and be like, bump, dot, dot, dot. You know, hugs proud, moving forward. Hey, Dawn. Yeah, see, simple, single topic, educational videos. They help. If only other martial artists who are involved in things would do simple, helpful, single topic videos that would help people better understand their style and technique. I'm not going to say who, though. When YouTube says, Trey uploaded a video, I am on it quick. Someday it will be a pole dance. Carl, I'm going to tell you a spoiler. I saw that comment when I first came in. I saw that comment when my system decided to work properly. And there was discussion. I want you to know, my good sir, as a service to this community, as a service to history, and the greater enlightenment, education, and entertainment of this age, I have been lobbying on your behalf and on the behalf of everyone who appreciates aesthetics for Trey to do such a video. You are welcome. God, I was possessed by William Shatner for a second there. I don't know. I think I was Christopher walking in Winter Wonderland, you know? Anyhow, if you know, you know. And Trey says, well, technically, it was a pole dance, and sword fighting is like a dance, and I was using a dowel rod, which is a pole shape. And as everyone knows, being technically right is the best kind of right. Hashtag malicious compliance 2025. Project this. Anyway, Trey with the logic this morning. That was the single bit of logic for the day. So the rest of it will be chaos and glitter. Woohoo! Ugh, no craft herpes, thanks. I'm still finding glitter from a birthday party over a decade ago. Glitter is justice, and I think it's beautiful. Also, ladies, there is actually a movement to acknowledge and expand the self-defense applications of glitter body. I don't remember what it's body something. Body rub, body oil, body something or other that's covered in glitter. It actually was used to solve a murder because they tracked the killer still had the glitter on a person. But it has been shown to deter people from being porcine in their behavior because it transfers. And if there's one thing a married or in a relationship man does not want to do is explain to his significant other, and it doesn't matter orientation or whatever, why they have glitter body oil or whatever it is, lotion, dang it, I'll remember the term, all over them. That is the modern version of lipstick on the collar, and I find that delightful. And still have more that is currently contained, and that was Confetti Love, the larger version of glitter. A moment of seriousness, because Space Mom Carrie Fisher has been referenced, and that is my general. Space Mom Carrie Fisher told us to take our meds and wear glitter, and that's how I intend to live life. Bravo, Zulu. And I'm not talking about that party. The glitter was for Caitlin. I heard a new name. And Donna says, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, folks. I know you're subscribed. Well, yep. Hey, Dick. Hey, Donna. And good morning, everyone. Ooh, I love Carrie, as all should. And the greetings are being exchanged. Greetings, greetings. Get ready with a shiny like. I like that. Threatens anyone who doesn't like with a damp cloth and super fine glitter. Dang! It's nicer than me. If you go into Menards right now, for people who are looking for justice and don't want to do anything damaging, one could theorize that the what's called dough in heat, in various names, scent, is rather noticeable. So I will ask, as a courtesy, please don't put that on anybody's car handles. I mean, it is really, really rude to do that, especially if they're driving a swastika. They have their political choices, and everyone has their right to their own opinion. And no doubt there will be ramifications. But I cannot justify the use of dough and heat spray on the inside of a car handle to tag someone as a D-bag. That would be wrong. Drops it into the slot. I'm sorry, I am laughing because I have, he's in Alaska now, a buddy who was a roommate of mine. And I doubt he's watching this, but if you are, hi, Tommy. Anyway. And Tommy had gravity problems because his backside was built much like Michigan J. Frog. So there was almost always I saw more of his plumber orientation than I care to. There may have been a day where I'm like, your pants are sagging, pull them up. Dude, nobody wants to see that. Dude, nobody wants to see that. This was early Nick. Early Nick is not as nice as current Nick. Early Nick was the sort to take quarters and put them in a jar of water in the fridge because he knew his unintentional roommate was listening about pulling up his pants. And may have taken a quarter and went, fine, bing, and put it in the slot to see what song the jukebox played. Anyway, that can neither be confirmed nor denied. Unless you want to go to Alaska. Haha. Hey, Josh! And we all love Josh. Like, thank you guys for all the news about these storms lately. I do appreciate the looking out. Accountability. New mini PC doesn't have enough power to make the 3D printing camera work. I am so sorry to hear that, Joe. Is there any way you could, like, splice in, like, take a cable, cut the power supply portion from the main connector, you split it open, and then run it to a battery box of some sort, or you'll put an adapter on there and run it to an external battery bank. I'm sorry. Wow, my dad took over. Like, I swear, my dad and my father-in-law were just both talking, and like my dad was talking about how to do it right, and I could see Charlie whipping out his little buck knife and just splitting the cord. When I found out that man, as he was working on rewiring the garage in a colorful way, instead of just let me get one connector and I can have a temporary rig set up, was colorblind. And was a signalman on the railroad. God, I love my father-in-law. I miss him every day. Anyway, pulls out a battered, reused, and often passed down from the beginning of time that was passed down from Slacker to Cool Video. All righty then. I will tell you this. I am an acceptor of all of the likes because the likes are not for me. The likes are a humble offering to our YouTube overlords to placate the demon of the land, which is the algorithm, in hopes that sacrifice of your like will allow the algorithm to let more people see what I do. It looks like the gaming PC will now become the streaming PC for the 3D printer. Will that impede your ability to game on it? Because okay, that's a fair answer. You know what this means. All right, folks, we need to pass the offering plate around to I have a link. Hold on. I got this. Just give me a second. I have a link. So, okay. We're passing the offering plate around. Joe Bachman does a whole lot for all of us. So, as tax season is coming to some of you who may be getting positive money back, consider donating to indiecd.org. I really should be doing this. And hello, listeners. It is time once again for us to come and ask for your support because Indie CD is made possible by listeners like you here on WNTF, Private Radio 1020. Apparently, we're an AM station now. That explains it. My PBS station is an AM station. And, the usual WNTF. Nevermind the Furthermore. Well, that's the FM station. We're both broadcasting out of the tower somewhere in the middle of the field surrounded by corn sharks. But seriously, if Joe needs to upgrade computers or stuff and anybody has money, throw it at Joe, please. No, he did not ask me to do that. Yes, he did kind of scowl at me for doing that, but it was too late and it happened. So, yeah. Yeah, some of the little ones just don't have the oomph. Which reminds me, I'm going to be acquiring a, not now, not yet, a PC to be our new multimedia center when the Xbox gets a little scraggly. Because I'm going to not incriminate myself by saying what I'm going to do, but in other news, I will need to set up LAN gaming of some sort. You know, there are a lot of things like my presentation style, often emulated, never duplicated. Okay, that was a bad set of jokes, and I should feel sorry for it. Hello, Rich and Joe. Oh, Rich was here. That's right, because he gave the battered blessed like. Hey, Rich. I'm sorry, my brain farted for a moment there. I am mildly sleep deprived. Let's see. Mine's pretty old, but it holds up well. Well, see, you could just use the one. I have one computer that I know works. It's my Island XP box. Because it's too dumb to be smart enough to be affected by the NIC field. I think the NIC field might have been a natural, like, white cell energy response to the horrors of the Vista virus. No, I have not forgotten. No, I will not forgive. And that Mojave stuff did not fool me. Wow, I went old geek rage. I dusted that one off. And let's see. Hello. I mean, mine's old, but holds up well. I have the blessed Decepticon of Joe. I love this computer. I forget it's on until I play like Minecraft and I hear the dust off. That I'm like, oh, is the special attack team with Lorebreaker coming in? And accountability. Woo! Don Dulas. If you are in a funk, baby, you reach out. Oh, no. Where are my sunglasses? I don't have my sunglasses. I'm going to have to get my sunglasses again. Brothers and sisters, it is time to be reminded of the great sermon. The good Lord gave you two good hands. And when you see your brother or sister is in need, you reach down to them because that's what that hand's for. And when you're in need, you reach up to the Lord because that's what he's there for. I tell you what, Sister Dulas, you should be. If you are in the funk, you reach out to me. You reach out to me because it is said in the great question of some of the great modern literature, who has the funk? I have the funk. I am fully qualified to play that funky music as I am indeed, behold, a white boy. Give unto me your funk, and I shall return it with silliness and shenanigans. You need not be depressed in this era of issue and illness, because the sheer delightful insanity of what we have to do transcends and rises above the mundane idiocy inflicted upon us by the mentally and genetically deficient, malformed things that slough their way towards Bethlehem to be born. No, we are moving forward, and we will not let such mere trifles interfere with the joy and enhancement of creative motivation. Can I get an amen? Okay, now, thank you, Brother Love. Anytime. All right. Don't worry, my eyes are still blue. You only have to worry if I have eyes black as coal. Anyway, Now I'm going to have to listen to that song again. Accountability. Woo! Purchase something to start Misty down the road and possibly joining us in the ranks of Indie CD. Thanks, Joe. You know what? One of the great things in life I love is seeing the remnants of, is Joe Bachman manipulating things from behind the code? Never. He would never do something like that. Yeah. Joe's like the inverted it. The clown trope has become so warped and scary and terrifying that to rebel against the trope, Joe is becoming like a clown that appears and goes, "Hi, woo, be happy. Here's computer. Run away." Wow. Sorry about that. I talked about happy clowns, so my brain went to Allison Court, and certain things got short-circuited in memories of something called a clock stretch. That was very amusing to my brothers in their youth and very physically entertaining to my father and I during that period of time. Offers Dawn some puppy cuddles. Woohoo! Well, this thing barely pulls power at all. There's only one USB port, and it will work. That will work out of, and even that out of it, it was even spotty as that. Still, I can utilize the mini PC for other things. I actually got to chill. I want to say this was a joke, but reading the phrase, I can utilize the mini PC for other things, actually set like the classic spine chill because my brain started running, good Lord, what is Joseph utilizing a mini PC for? And the only answer I'm getting is other things. So Joe's like, Nick, you're too nice. Remember, ominous Joe is ominous. Dang it. Hey, Rich and Jack. Accountability, secure channel to start my chain mail show. Every once in a while, my mind will try to scramble letters together. And with the earlier context talking about chainsaws, I visually, I wish I could show it happen. It looks like kind of like what happens on Percy Jackson. I saw just for a second my chainsaw show. And then I had the image of Richie going, well, this week on Rich Solves Problems, we've got, and him setting down an object. This object is a problem. And now it's not. This has been Rich Solves Problems. See you next week when, and it just cuts to, the picture of a blender or something just getting chainsawed. Nice, Rich. Hey, Richard. Woo! Hey, we got green screens. What day are you thinking about streaming on, Rich, or will it just be random? It's that Joe guy. Hey, Joe. International Women's Day was a couple weeks ago. Well, if you're bored, there's always the peg board. You can rearrange it. You can hang things off of it. Just be sure, I saw somebody try to use hooks for a pegboard that were straight. 2 of them were just straight. I'm like, I don't even know where you found that. It keeps falling out. Well, yes. It needs to be bent to hit the right spot on top. If only there was someone who has a history of bending metal into shapes around here. Can I see that? Yeah. Can I borrow that old screwdriver? Well, the nose of it's all messed up. I know. Tink, tink. Tink, 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 tink. What happened? I don't know. Nick went from normal to singing something about Durin's Day and hammering. Apparently, the world is young. Anyway, drop a link, Rich, for the Chainmail Show. Not IWD, just to be clean. Clear. Oh. Whew. Once I get a couple videos up, I'll start dropping links and make an ad. Once you get a video up, drop the link so you can start getting the algorithm and I can do the sorcery while your other videos are going to go up. Please. Please. Mondays will be free in a couple weeks. Just saying. But work has begun on The Dude of the Rings. Okay, so me making a Durin's Day reference, totally on brand. Hello! I mean, hello. I can't do it, but somebody Trey was telling me apparently it's not Mrs. Doubtfire, it's more Lurch. And that's not coming out of me in a chipper moment, especially when I've already brought out Brother Love. My voice is like, oh, Mr. Tockert, what are you doing to me? I say, sir. Grant. Unfortunately, the government is canceling those. Run, Grant. No, I was late. I'm late because I was shaving. Why, Mrs. Lanker, are you trying to seduce me? Anyway, figured it's been 3 weeks. I better. Hi. Hey, Grant, we got readings. I haven't heard anyone say Smeghead since my uncle turned to the dark side. I'll also say the fish for today is salmon. Not the green room. Not going to talk about Nick's exploding Nevermind. Hi. See, we're doing good. Grant, hi. Not the green room for this whole thing today. Yes. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday. It's getting there. I plan to nap this afternoon, so green room people are in big trouble. I plan to get off of this show, make some lunch, shoot down to Lafayette, get tortured by my delightfully sadistic, not statistic, although physical therapist to check, am I doing my exercises? Spoilers, yes. But Nick, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes. You're doing them now? I have to do them before bed. Oh. I just had to pause because that was a heck of a fight scene. So, pretty good, Grant. Inigo got to play with a couple neighbor dogs for a minute, so he's happy. Nope, I'm sober. It's not noon yet. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Going strong, make it a hurricane, for I go insane. Diving into crochet patterns, Scrooge McDuck style. Raced from lasers, aeroplanes. Ooh, a nap sounds nice. By the way, we have a working refrigerator. Congrats! That's awesome. You know what? There are days where I go, hey, I have a working refrigerator. Nothing's supposed to be wrong with it. I haven't had to fix it in quite some time. I'm just shocked. Never ask someone, why are you like this? They might tell you. I am responsible, unfortunately, for several counselor-like entities rethinking their careers. One of them became a children's art teacher. Oh, good, Grant. True, Carl. Glad they came back, Grant. You might have another couple patterns by the end of the day, Trey. boing, boing. Anyway, I have a project for a friend after Donna's Beret, a secret project, TM, because it might bring someone joy. And so many others planned. I seriously need to do a vault of these things. I also have the need to bribe Amanda to get me to help get them in order. One, Doom Bunny twerking. Doom, 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 doom bunny, bun, bun, doom bunny. Doom, doom, doom. Maybe, maybe. Wow. I just got hit with 90s electro techno in my head. Anyway, I talked to Foxy the other day about an idea of mine, and she gave me permission, so I have another commission for you. There's absolutely no rush on this one, so just get it to when you can. Ooh. Okay, I know that whenever Trelena uses my name at the start of a comment, that her McGonagall is coming out just a little bit. Wow, I wish I could do a good McGonagall. I can't. At least not without listening to either her or the really cute black lady who does the McGonagall voice. If you know, you know. Anyway, Nick, Nick, there's a difference between asking for help, accepting people saying no, and demanding labor and harassing people who try to decline. Yes, there is. This all ties into the horrible truths of reminding myself that rest is an action and recovery is something that takes time. So that, like, apparently, if I say got hit very hard in the forearm and elbow, bad enough I had to consider getting it x-rayed, 2 days later it might still be sore, and that's okay, etc. But what Trey said, yes. Now to remind myself of those things. Yes. Ooh, I think we all have that problem at times. Dawn, or a reminder not to be used by such people? Yes. You don't need some kind of crazed Elizabethan mistress or master dictating your value as a person, okay? And hashtag Team Velma all the way. Again, if you know, you know. That too. And I love how supportive my chat is of my chat. And that's made me more upset at certain persons than when they tried it on me. Don't abuse my friends. Welcome to my world. They treat you like dirt, yes, and I like dirt. I talk to dirt. Dirt understands. Dirt is used to be walked on. Sometimes dirt has bugs, high in protein. And once again, the character I probably most resonate with in all of Babylon 5, Zathras, not to be confused with Zathras, or his other brothers named Zathras, and Zathras. Whoa, let's not talk down harems. I mean, asking for a friend. One, I have no problem with harems that are consensual, and that the power debt dynamic is not based in debt. It should be voluntary, and people forget that in a situation like that, the sub is the one with the actual power. Study scenes, people. Study the scene, because a lot of bad information is out there. Oh, that reminds me. Trelane and I will be sending you... I went to Goodwill, and I scored 2 books. I will be sending you the cover and back page images of 2 books. If you have interest, let me know. They are for my special collection. Not quite the forbidden side, but my special collection. And is Nick talking to me? I think I may be one of the folks he's referring to. Never. Never. Anyway, dear, you always think he's talking about you, but today, perhaps. Calvin, it's so not even close to lunchtime. Well, now it is. I'm a half hour late. I usually don't call him out that directly. LOL. LOL. Sorry, guys, I have to go back to work. Be victorious, Grant. Later. Have a good day. I might see you on the Historical Fencing Guild, but I might also. Hey, it's groovy. I'm probably. Yeah, I'm either going to expand on the talk that I kind of played with earlier because there are some points I want to drive home, or I may be in a crafty mood. A lot of it depends on how much time I have before I get home and if I can find the rag and the brasso. Because if I can find the rag, the brasso, and the bag of leather bits, I might do something I've been meaning to do for quite some time for the edutainment of all. Bye! When Aunt Dana says, line up, the 7 deadly sins say, yes, ma'am. Anyway, looks down at nails and whistles innocently. I'm sorry. When the 7 deadly sins are mentioned at this point, I either think of a very large gentleman with an axe or one of the best designed characters who did the worst things. And again, if you know, you know. If not, please look up something called Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yes, Brotherhood is better than the regular one. I said what I said. I said what I said. Let's go paint the town red. No, good morning. Hey, Chris Walker. Happy Friday. Bittersweet days for me at this time. Yesterday was my grandmother's birthday, and today my baby brothers. Both are no longer on this plane of existence. Well, Chris, as my predecessor, who is with us, just not here right now, I would say, I hope all the memories are golden. And well, he'd say, may all the memories be golden, and it would sound eloquent because he has far less furthermore than I do. I can only aspire to Nevermind the Furthermore just as much as the originator did. But I recently went through some days like that. The days leading up to Xander's birthday are always a little interesting for me. For a story I don't always like to tell in the public. But yeah, we're here for you, bud. Seriously, if you want to talk, you want distractions, reach out. Hugs for Chris. Subdued squee with hug for Chris. Sorry, Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. You get used to it, but you never really get used to it. Oh, well, the important things is they aren't forgotten. I hope that everyone is having a good start to their weekend. Indeed. Oh, and sadly, his Chinese dulcimer has not arrived, so I'm still waiting. Hugs. And while I do know that hugs was directed to Chris because he's having a rough time, it does read as you scroll down like you're trying to comfort poor Thesis and his guitar not being here yet. And my hyper-literal mind found that delightful. At least one of the two were able to live. At least one of the two were able to live a life, Chris. You have memories and things you can think of to remember them by. Yeah. Just like there are a lot of births this time of year, there's a lot of passings this time of year. Lots of memories, love, and laughter. I'm fortunate in that regard, but just think of them more on their birthdays than other days. Understandable. And thank you, Nick, for advocating for pole dancing. I've been an advocate for Trey and all sorts of things for a very, very long time. I do distinctly remember I have, advocating for Trey on that thought brought back a bit of a story. My buddy Jason, because for a long time it was me, Jason, and Trey, and we just caused problems throughout certain organizations. It was delightful, very Three Musketeers style. But I'm in the habit of, on the right hot sunny day, usually it was on a Friday, I would take what I call Swordmaster's holiday. I would cancel the practice, usually once a year, and I would go to the beach. And I would enjoy going to the beach. Shockingly, as a manatee, I am a occasionally aquatic mammal. But at one point, Trelena, my buddy Jason, who we refer to by his last name, Lido, and I all went to the beach, and because there was something wrong in the main building, Trelena had to do some changing. And we were holding up a sheet, big towel thing so that she could do whatever changing she needed to do. And it was difficult for her. She actually had a hard time because of the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern grade Abbott and Costello exchange that was being badly whispered between Jason and I. Because I'm holding this up and I'm chilling. Don't peek. I'm not peeking, you freaking meatball. You better not peek. I'm not peeking. Okay. Are you thinking about peeking? Only because you said it. And then we were told it was okay, and Trelena was ready for the beach. And this is said with all the love and joy in the world. The beacons were lit and Gondor called for aid. But those were good times. I may have to do something similar to that soon. Thesis is a non-sparkly type of person. I am the opposite. Darman Greg energy. Dear Lord, combine pepper spray, glitter, and UV dye that don't wash off. That brings me joy. That sparks joy. I like that. Make it rich and you'll be rich. Caitlin, my niece. Thank you. I got a little Richie Rich. I know I'm not the only one with the questionable headcanon as a little kid who went, wait a second. Is Casper the friendly ghost just Richie Rich on the other side after some relative bumped him off for the fortune? Anyway, have that horrible thought in your mind. I don't dwell on it much or too long. I have things to do and need taken care of. Rock on. I used to enjoy those comics. Absolutely. Richie Rich and Casper and Wendy the Witch. Oh, yeah. And Hot Stuff, the little devil. It's good I don't live near Menards. Say, cold quarters down the crack. I didn't know he could hit a note that high, and he literally jumped high enough his head hit the ceiling. Allegedly. I mean, if I were to have done that to him. But of course, I'm also the one who, while we were sealing up a project, might have used a caulking gun because I was being yelled at to be sure you fill all the cracks. Are you sure? And the phrase arse spackle was born, and followed by dang it, gosh dang it, and then finding out that his butt was significantly less hairy later. Sounds like the kind of thing that Don would do. Many of those cars were purchased before the election took place. It's unfair to lump everyone who owns one into a certain group of people or supporters. I understand that. And that's why I don't terribly condone actual harm to the things. I do think I would at least get a bumper sticker that says, bought this before he lost his mind and can't afford to get rid of it. But it's also unfortunate that sometimes, and I've seen this in cultural drift, where words and terms and objects their meaning changes and they become symbolic in certain communities of problematic beliefs. So I do not condone the suffering of any of the people who were dumb enough to buy one of those cars, because they shouldn't suffer. They were, it was a choice. It's fine. But I do think the boycott is a beautiful idea, and it proves something wonderful that we all need to remember, that boycotts are monstrously effective. They do work if everybody is in on it. And it does have, it's one of those where they can't make it illegal, contrary to what was released. They can't really force you many times to buy what you don't want to buy. And the idea that poor people could learn to not spend money where they want you to, or not spend as much, is much like learning that there's nothing wrong with doing your job, but only doing your job. Because the business model of every paid job is that you need to be paid less than what you're actually worth. That's part of how a company makes a profit. Therefore, your work, dedication, and performance should be commensurate with your environment and your pay rate. That's why there was that whole people are quiet quitting. They're just only doing their job and nothing else. Am I meeting the terms of the contract? Am I doing what the contract requires? Yes. Then the rest can have off. But these two concepts terrify big business. They terrify the corporate culture, because this is a way to take back personal power from the literal sociopaths who run major companies. I can't remember. I want to say it was 1 in 10 CEOs is a literal sociopath if you look at the behaviors they manifest. I don't know. Carl might know the figure I'm trying to reference, but so yeah. Take your beef to the company. Don't take it to the individual, unless of course they're dicks, and then tra la 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 la. And technically, if you watch the review, I said don't do that. Sounds like something I do. Hi, right, Chris? Well, time to do that work meeting thing. Remember, folks, if you can't be good at it. Have fun. And morning, bunnies. Hi, Robin. Your ad is getting run, well, actually later than it's usually run, but earlier than it is in the show. This is the ad I have for Robin.
Hi, bunnies. This is Robin Yoda, just wanting to let you know I have a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Robin Yoda. You can catch me there Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific playing Stardew Valley, Saturdays at 2 p.m. playing The Sims 4, and Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific playing a random game from my Game Pass library. You can also find me Mondays on my YouTube channel, Robin Yoda the Lilac Bunny. I hope to see you all there. Thanks for watching.
I was thinking about you actually yesterday, Robin, and how long I've known you and how I'm impressed with what you've done. I reminisced. Hey, Robin. Morning, Robin. How's everyone doing today? Interesting. It's been a spicy day. Hey, Robin. Well, much to do in coming days. Just got to focus and get moving. I hope that everybody has a great weekend ahead and has something pleasant happen to them before it's all over. You're a great man. You know what? You're more important than a great man. You're a good man, Chris Walker. And the world needs more of you. Have a good day, Chris. May you be surrounded by happy memories. This year's member drive needs your support. Please remember to include Indie CD in your charitable giving plans. Nick, in early 2000s Microsoft trauma. Yes. Clowns are evil. I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to do he does the Kubrick stare when nobody. I'm scared. I know there are ways to do digital zoom as an app. You can rig your camera to externally digital zoom. I know it's been done. I am terrified one of these days he's going to do like a jump scare of himself warping with that. Every time. I literally have the heebly-jeeblies, Joe. You nailed that one perfect. Joe is one of the exceptions. I have a long-standing feud with certain types of clouds. Yes, Nick Brain. Oh, yes. Will it blend except Virgin Chainsaw? Yes. We'll feed the felines now. See some of the most scallywaggiest of you later tonight. We'll have to see. Tonight's an interesting one because I have mighty journeys and things to take care of tomorrow, but we'll see. Yes, have a great day. See you tonight, Carl. Kitty lunchtime. Off to check Kiddo and the chickens. Bye, Donna. Be amazing today. I love that one. And have a great day, all. Yes. Sadistic statistics. Thank you, Dawn. From the bottom of my speech impediment rendered nerve damaged tongue. Apparently, when you nearly bite it off as a child, it sometimes doesn't do what it's told. But sometimes it's really good. Anyway, sounds like right, Dawn. Doom Bunny, but Doom. Today on Doom Bunny, friends, the discotheque of Doom. Biblio discotheque. Dawn says, "Good morning, Xander." He's still asleep. Yes, morning, Xander. The whispering was very quiet and subtle. It was. I don't know how anyone heard it. Certainly not the old ladies who walked by laughing maniacally beneath their big floppy red hats. You mean most people don't think Casper's the ghost of Richie Rich? Some artists, right? It happens. Boycott's work, Musk is down approximately 137 billion in 3 months. See, and it's great because once we're done with him, we can just move on to the next. And was 400 billion in December. Indeed, Robin. Warren Kremer drew both Richie Rich and Casper. Yes. Now, it is been an hour 44 into my 1 hour show. I do apologize. My monologue kind of went places this morning. I do hope it was at least educational in some way. If I am going to do things to change and improve myself, part of my accountability is, this is a dangerous phrase to drop for those of you who understand, speaking things into existence. A very true, very important thing. This is why we have to be careful with our self-talk. Because our minds cannot process the difference subconsciously between fact and fiction. And what we tell ourselves in the quiet hours is what we will think of ourselves, at least in part. And dealing with that is a challenge for some of us. Because the problem is what other people have said will echo to. And that's why I'm so vehemently opposed to people who pose as friends but hold others down. There are too many people out there who, I want you to succeed, just not higher than me. And the world's full of that. And it both saddens and sickens me. So that's why I'm all about this. Sometime I'm going to get the art right in my head, that's in my head, to do sort of a children's book. It's called Magpie's Flight. And I've made about 12 attempts at it. To my quiet shame, I've literally made multiple attempts trying to get this book right. But someday. But remember on that one, guys, if somebody holds out their hands to give you a boost, and they're kind enough to do that, don't step on their face. That shouldn't be that big of an ask, but sometimes it is. You'll just end up in the mud. Loves to everyone, and be awesome to and with yourself. You know, that is a great thing to end on. And yeah, sometimes the voices of others can be louder than your own. Their voices are not always polite. That's why very early in this broadcast, I said, sometimes you have to light your way ahead with the burning of the bridges behind you. And yeah. If I ever scold somebody and I lay into them about being better, understand this. That means I care enough to say, you need to fix this. If somebody hits that line with me, I get so far, I won't even rage about them like I do with some people. I will simply negate their existence from my world. But I'm surrounded by some of the best and the brightest right now, and I am so pleased to have it. So let's just start promoting those people. And remember, if you're on guard and you're staring at the shadows, be sure to look the other way once in a while. Remind yourself that that's not all there is. Excuse you? Try that again,
Welcome, friends. I'm Bladed Thesis, and this is my tea house. Come join me every Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time as we discuss Chinese culture, history, philosophy, and of course, martial arts. You can find me at youtube.com/BLADEDTH3SIS. Pull up a chair, grab a cup of tea, or the drink of your choice, and join the discussion.
Hello, I'm Dan Hallfield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Abelian Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphelion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.
And normally I'd run Robin's ad, but I ran that a little early, so I think we'll just wrap up with this.
Hi, this is Kat. During the school year, I'm Mrs. Rothermel, but otherwise, I'm Rock and Roll Art Goddess, writing about my past and filming the present. I need you to join my Rock and Roll Art army and to check out my merch on Zazzle.com. What started out as journal therapy is now 4 books, I see, and an Instagram account to blow off steam, becoming a book, with another to do the same. A short film for a friend. No, this is not the end. Peace, love, and let me art.
Before I go, I really love that we got lore on the setting of Thesis's commercial with the either cherry blossoms or dogwoods or whatever those are behind him. For all that it's not a park, but the back end of a former Kmart store. I love spaces like that. But then again, it may shock some of you, I tend to be found when left to my own devices at liminal times in liminal places. However, I do want to remind you guys once again, don't let anyone convince you that you aren't the main character in your own story. Okay? And don't let yourself convince you that you're the main character in everyone else's. These two extremes can cause problems. But, guys, keep writing, keep drawing, keep creating. Because when you do, you can edit it, you can improve it, but you cannot edit a blank page. I love you, and you should too. I will be back tonight at 8 o'clock, roughly, for the Historical Fencing Guild's live stream. Because I will be going out to take care of some things, medical appointments, and the amount of drive, I don't schedule that on the days. That way, if I have to be 15 minutes late, it doesn't get all goofed up. That's why I don't do that a lot of times. Less anxiety for me, but it will be there. Please, if you're watching my stuff or any of the stuff of the people I promote on YouTube, check the little bell icon and make sure you've selected all, because YouTube will screen your calls essentially. So keep that in mind. Guys, it's going to be a great weekend. We're going to make it so. We're either going to have a lot of fun or get a lot of work done, maybe even both. But things will get better. Things are getting better. And dang it, it may not be much, but my gimpy self is going to do what I can to make things better. I cordially invite you to do so as well, too.